Welcome back to the Archive Network. Aurelius here with Malik, curators of the Treaty Archive. We left Treaty of Kadesh last time, the Treaty of Kadesh has remade the ancient Near East. Today, we pick up where we left off. Peace has come, but the shadow of war still lingers like a fog on the horizon. Egypt and the Hittite Empire find themselves at a crossroads, a delicate moment in time. Words have been exchanged, but it's the actions that will truly define the treaty's legacy. Each ruler now faces the daunting task of navigating this new reality, where coexistence isn't just a lofty goal, but the ultimate challenge. We must all watch closely, for the choices made today will shape the future for generations to come.
Aurelius, you really make it sound so simple, don't you? But peace isn't just about treaties on parchment. It's about the lives of real people. Think about the merchants who need to travel safely to support their families. They're the ones who will feel the effects of this new order, whether it brings prosperity or turmoil. Their hopes and fears matter. If we don't consider them, what's the point of any agreement? We can't forget the human cost in all of this.
You're right about the merchants. Their journeys truly reflect the success of the treaty. With borders now fixed, trade routes are thriving. The movement of goods is the very pulse of the economy. Egypt and Hatti aren't just rivals anymore. They're partners in prosperity, at least on the surface. Of course, one wonders how long this will last. We know that alliances can shift like the sands, but for now, let's appreciate the bustling markets and hopeful traders.
And yet, let's not forget the underlying tensions that simmer just beneath the surface. Local rulers, who've grown used to shifting allegiances and playing the game of power, might feel cornered. The promise of peace doesn't erase their fear of losing what little control they have. They might still act out of self-interest, driven by a desire to protect their own positions. It's these very actions that could undermine the stability you're so eager to praise, leaving ordinary people caught in the crossfire.
True enough. The provisions of the treaty aim to create security for our people. The Mutual Defense Pact is not just a safeguard against future aggression. It's also a warning shot across the bow. The Assyrians, for instance, are watching closely, like vultures circling their prey, eager for any sign of weakness in our resolve. We must remember, in the world of empires, perception is often reality. A show of strength can deter threats before they even arise.
That's really the crux of it, isn't it? The treaty has the potential to reshape the diplomatic landscape in ways we can't fully predict. But it could just as easily become a source of friction, tearing relationships apart. The extradition clause might curb some of the intrigue we've seen, but it can also lead to deep-seated resentment among rulers. Not every leader will embrace it willingly, and it's the everyday people who bear the consequences of that refusal.
Precisely. The machinery of diplomacy is fragile. Just as it matures, it can be tested by ambition and natural disasters. We must remember that the path to peace is rarely smooth, often littered with obstacles. Yet, the fact that we resolve disagreements through correspondence instead of swords marks a significant shift in our approach. It shows we've learned to value dialogue over violence. This evolution, however slow, is crucial for the stability of any empire.
That's an important observation. But let's not overlook the cultural implications here. In Egypt, the temples and monuments being constructed aren't just symbols of peace. They serve as tools of propaganda as well. Ramses is carefully crafting a narrative that ties his legacy directly to the treaty's success. It's not just about stone and mortar. It's about how he wants people to remember him. We need to think about the real lives affected by this, how the everyday people experience these grand gestures.
A fair point. Hattusili III is doing something quite similar over in Anatolia. He's consolidating power and reforming his administration. The Hittite bureaucracy, once so burdened by the chaos of war, is finally being streamlined. This newfound order allows for a vision of stability. But it's important to remember that it's all built on the promises of that treaty. Without those commitments, this progress could easily unravel, reminding us that stability often hangs by a thread.
Stability is the key word here. But the real question we have to ask ourselves is, how long can this last? New threats pop up all the time, and old rivalries have a way of flaring back up when we least expect them. Sure, the treaty is a significant achievement, but let's be clear, it's not a cure-all. Ambition has a knack for finding cracks in our efforts, and when it does, it's the everyday people who pay the price.
History is never static. The Treaty of Kadesh has laid a foundation, yes, but we can't ignore the uncertainty it carries. Will it hold against the tides of ambition and conflict? The legacy of peace is precarious at best. As we look ahead, we must ponder whether this treaty can endure the tests of time and power. The stakes are high, and the implications for empires and their people could be monumental.
Exactly. The story of Kadesh is far from over. The new order is fragile, and while the ink may be dry on treaties, the challenges ahead are very real. We have to ask ourselves, will future generations rise to the occasion? Will they be brave enough to embrace peace, or will they instead find themselves lost in the shadows of war again? It's the lives of everyday people that hang in the balance after all.
The Treaty of Kadesh has fundamentally reshaped the ancient Near East. Yet, as we all know, the passage of time will inevitably test its durability. As we reflect on this moment, we must consider what comes next. The ink may fade, but the impact of this treaty will resonate through history. Future generations will look back and assess its significance, weighing the balance of power it has created. Let's not forget, the actions we take today will carve our place in tomorrow's narrative.
That's where we leave it this time. Treaty of Kadesh continues. The story isn't finished yet. Find the full series on the Treaty Archive, part of the Archive Network. We'll be back with the next chapter.